Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, continuing our discussion with His Excellency Ambassador Meligy. Now, Your Excellency, you were talking about, or you were listing a few of the tasks and challenges that lay ahead. You spoke about the situation with Gaza, you spoke about the state of domestic economy, also the debt situation internationally. We haven't even mentioned the Renaissance Dam within Ethiopia. So in what order or how do we strategize a certain way or method of trying to deal with a multiple of tasks and a multiple of challenges that lay ahead and nobody knows what exactly can happen in the near and far future as well?
Of course, we have our own strategy. But nevertheless, there are things that are inflicted on us.
Yes.
And accordingly, we have to re-switch our priorities. I mean, the Gaza war, something that was inflicted on us. I mean, it put everything on hold. Even there were rumors that we might even postpone the presidential elections because of the severity and because of the sensitivity of the situation at our eastern borders. So sometimes we have to reshuffle our priorities according to what's coming from around us. That's why when I mentioned our eastern, western, and southern borders, that's exactly what I mentioned. I mean,
yes.
if, let's imagine, God forbid, that the situation escalates in Sudan, and then you are having more Sudanese coming to Egypt. How can this affect us economically? Or the situation in Libya will ignite once again. The Palestinian cause, we don't know how is it going to end so far. We have several scenarios and we are getting ready with several scenarios and with the answer to each and every one of them. Nevertheless, this is taking part of our effort and of our time and of our energy to try to figure out every answer to every scenario that might be imposed on us. So the situation is not as simple, but in our defense, let's say, there are important issues that we cannot avoid them in any time or because of any reason. First of all is the national security of Egypt.
Yes.
And this is actually necessary, first of all, that we are very vigilant in terms of anything that happens on our borders. And second, that we have to strengthen our army. This is a cost that maybe we were not ready at this moment to pay, but we have to, because we need to have a strong army, because we cannot be sure of what can happen on any of our three borders that I mentioned. So this is one thing. The second thing is the debt problem. The debt problem is a severe but not alarming yet problem, but we have to find a solution, what we are going to do in the future. As you have heard from the head of the government and from the Minister of Finance and Economy, that we can pay our debt. So far we are able to pay our debt, but we have to choose wisely how to invest the amount of money that we have already so far. As you have seen, that recently the Prime Minister have taken a decision that no more or no new projects with any hard currency component will be introduced until we finish what we have right now. And even in some of the most important ministries, such as the Ministry of Transportation, and they refused at the Parliament, if you remember recently, a deal with several billions because they assumed that it's not urgent. So we are trying to manipulate the money that we have and the hard currency that we have to put it in the right places so far. We have to expand our agriculture. We have to enforce our industries. We have to let more and more the private sector to prosper, because as you know, there is a problem of importation due to the lack of hard currency, and several companies who are basing themselves to get the raw material from abroad cannot import this raw material. So this have to be regulated in a certain way. Will there be another change of the rate of the hard currency vis-a-vis the Egyptian pound or not. So we have, economically, we have a lot on our plate that we have to deal with. Maybe we'll also have to think about rescheduling our debts to a more suitable times, or to take it easier than the current situation. So, as you can see, economically we have a lot of things, not to mention also the external issues that can be inflicted on us.
Yes.
Especially that, at the end of the day, I have to say it here, that what we have seen from the Western country is not what we expected. Of course, we hear from them several good things, but unfortunately, when it comes to deeds, it's a little bit different than what they promise. If we take, for example, the Palestinian issue, I mean, we heard President Biden talking about the two-state solution, and that the Palestinian has the right to live in their own country next to the Israeli state.
Yes.
But when it comes to reality, he is supporting Israel with all what it needs, although it is the aggressor. And it's, I mean, whether we are talking military or political support or economic support, they are having it all. And that's why Israel is not stopping its insurgence in Gaza until today, because there is no serious pressure on Israel to stop what they are doing. Yes, there are diversions in points of view, but this never reached the level where Israel would feel threatened if it continues that something might happen to its relations with the West. No, the relations are going in one way, and the good words, or what I call the lip service, is going perfectly with what we think is the right path to achieve peace.
Well, Mr. Ambassador, you've mentioned that in terms of economic challenges, we will have to improvise or adapt to our strategy. Yes, we will go on with our projects. Maybe we'll keep on some projects on hold that will require hard or foreign currency. But also we are expecting, for instance, next year to have an American presidential elections. So a change of administration is on the cards, and that in turn might change some sort of foreign policy for a major superpower like the United States. Or, as many people and political analysts are saying, well, it doesn't really matter who the president is or the administration. It's really a country or an administration of institutions. So how much of an improvisation or adaptation does the Egyptian government need to do in order to cope with those challenges, economic and political challenges as well?
Well, we have to work with what we have. I mean, it's not about what we wish for as much as it is what we can do. Actually, I'm a little bit skeptical when it comes to the American elections, because usually the last year is a year where the administration is paralyzed, more or less. They cannot take major strategies, or they cannot adopt any new policies. They just have to run business until the election, especially that it is not like a clear cut or there is a victory that is secured for the current president or any other president that will follow. So this would add to the paralyzation of the American administration. Add to that the Israeli side is in a state of aggression and a state of fury, and they cannot control themselves. I mean, we've seen atrocities even committed against their own people. I mean, I was shocked to see a few weeks ago what they were doing. I mean, the Israeli security forces, what they were doing to Jews who are opposing the war on Gaza, and they hit them hard. They hit them hard. A few days ago, we heard that they killed 3 of their own people, thinking that they were Palestinians while they were Israelis. And the list go on, because there is indiscrimination killing in Gaza. So if Israel is like that and the United States administration is paralyzed, then we are going to see more and more from the eastern side. And this will not give us enough time to deal with our own internal problems. We need to focus on our progress.
Yes.
And this is what I wanted to give you as an example of what we could be facing. But the scenarios, as I said, have to deal with the pressing points. The pressing points will start with the economy and with the debt. Those are the two main points. But everything could be reshuffled, as I said.
Yes.
If something happened on your eastern borders, you will have to ask
Put
these things to
everything else on
wait, to
hold,
put it
yeah.
on hold until you solve this issue. So
Yes.
it's a dangerous situation. And that's why I think, once again, the 89.6% reflect why this man was chosen at this particular moment.
Yes. Well, he was chosen for this particular moment and for the next 6 years up until 2030. As His Excellency the Ambassador mentioned, many challenges and tasks lay ahead, political, economic and social ones as well. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this edition of the Daily Debate. But before we go, I'd like to thank my very distinguished guest, Ambassador Medhat Meligy, the former Assistant Foreign Minister. Your Excellency, always a pleasure having you with us. Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned for more coming up on Nile International. I'm Henny Saif. Thank you for joining us.